But in the short run, this won't be a problem. And you probably need to talk to the Enom people about whoever is now running that email service and talk to them.
She should be hosting her email on the same with her website. Whoever's hosting the website should be providing the email.
That makes sense, but they are not the most sophisticated of companies.
Who?
It's what are they?
I'm just looking it up now because it was a new.
No, but the website host is, we were just looking at it a few hours ago.
She has.
Exact Hosting is the place where it is hosted.
That's the email.
IndieMade is just our website. I don't know what you call it.
IndieMade doesn't host the website?
No,
That's weird.
because
Because we're logged into IndieMade and we make a change and we see it on the website. So,
well, we're paying Exact Hosting for.
You have a shopping
Our,
cart on your website, Teresa?
she does.
And I mean, normally when there's a shopping cart, you have to host your website with the company that has the shopping cart, or else the shopping cart, that's part of the package, or else the shopping cart won't work.
Well, Teresa's asked them to talk to me, and if they say yes, then I have a whole bunch of questions and this will be one of them.
Thank you.
But if they do everything by email, which is what it seems like they do, it's going to be a little complicated to ask these questions and get a quick answer.
Well, they're usually quicker than they have been today, but maybe they're checking things through. So,
well, it's just, I ask a question, I get an answer. I have another question, I need another answer. If it's email, then it's 6 emails instead of 1 conversation.
Right, and 24 hours between questions.
More or less, yeah. So,
Hi, Bonnie.
but you guys are giving me such an education amongst you. You know, all these companies I've never had to deal with before, and how idiosyncratic they are.
Is that fools ask questions a wise man can't answer type of lesson?
That seems germane. I'm not sure if it's perfectly apt, but it seems germane. It's relevant. Also, I looked at the site on the phone, Teresa, and you can't. The letters are the text is too tiny to read. If you hold the phone tall, if you hold it wide, it's barely readable. So that's something that they ought to be able to fix for you if they're designing their templates right. And we just changed to a brand new template so their templates aren't great, because that should not happen. The text should be, it's codable so that the text will be a different size for different screen sizes and look appropriate.
Do you actually make sales on your website and use the shopping cart?
Yes.
Because there might be other options of hosting companies that have shopping carts that are easier to work with.
Well, I've been putting everybody on Weebly, but since Square bought Weebly, I'm getting more and more worried about doing that anymore. So the other alternatives for a small business would be Squarespace and Wix. and both of them will do. The trouble with Squarespace is that you can't put any text on a store page. You can only have products. So if you want to explain the products, you have to do it on another page, which is
That makes no sense.
makes no sense at all. It's a very bad design flaw. But Squarespace is otherwise very good. Their documentation is good. They're fairly user friendly. But
That's fine.
It's fine.
I don't need a full.
Oh, you look like a Cupid doll.
Like my little mohawk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a little Cupid doll thingy.
No. No matter what I do, this is what it does.
Well, it's-
I'm
So
wondering
you
if as it
Color
gets
it
longer.
red, and then you could be like the Cardinals behind me.
There you go.
That's right.
I shall have to do pink to match your glasses.
Yes, I agree. Hi, everyone.
Hi,
Hi,
Bonnie.
Bonnie.
How you feeling, Bonnie?
I have turned a corner, a good
Yay.
corner.
Good.
Oh,
Good.
good.
Yeah, I am the last 3 days. I have felt much more like myself again,
Good.
which is
3 days is good.
yes. So what's new out there?
Oh,
Well, shows are going full steam ahead, I guess. This weekend is Shady Side here in Pittsburgh.
Are you gonna go take booth pictures?
Nobody has contacted me. I actually advertised it on Howard Allen's website. But I'll probably go and walk the show on Saturday morning and see what happens.
So this weekend is the Bruce Museum show in Greenwich, Connecticut, and the Baltimore Craft Fair is in this weekend instead of having been in February.
I missed that show,
Which Baltimore show?
the ACC.
Oh,
I don't think they call it that anymore.
And it's going to be smaller than in years past, but not small. It's still going to be a big show.
Well, it should be smaller. It couldn't support all those artists. There's more of me. Well, here in Michigan, our COVID numbers just released today. We're now in the high category.
Mm.
We had been in the moderate or something like that.
ours
New
are
York-
rising.
New York City is recommending masks as of this last day or two, but not mandating them yet.
Yeah,
I'll go up again.
Mandating could be coming again.
It's going up again.
Omicron is going to be requiring them, at least as of right now. And also vaccination status card. Then you get a wristband to go in.
good. Well, I've had a lot of just recently fully vaccinated and boosted friends
Mhm.
test positive.
Yes.
I called somebody today who said, I don't know if you can hear me because I can barely talk. I just got tested positive today.
Oh, no.
So
Well, I got the fourth
he didn't feel
shot
terrible yet.
yesterday.
Good.
Yeah, I mean,
Well-
it's not, it doesn't stop you from getting it. It just makes
No.
it not, not hospitalization level.
Well, also though, they're saying that the actual cases are probably higher because people have those home testing kits and they're not reporting when they have a
Right.
one.
Well, so many of the home testing kits, it sounds like, are testing negative, and then you get the longer, the 2-day one, and they're coming up positive.
Well, even if they do get a positive one, they just stay home. You know, they self.
Yeah.
isolate,
If you
whatever.
don't feel good, stay home.
Well, no, they're asymptomatic, but you know, they get a positive test, they just call in and say, hey, I got a positive test, I'm not coming into work for a few days. And, you know, but they don't get it confirmed or whatever with the health department or report it to the health department. Not sure there's even anything on there for reporting.
They're giving out more, you can get 8 more free
Yeah.
COVID tests from the
Those are the
government.
ones people are using. But if you don't report the positive, they don't have that for their stats.
Yeah, that's why those numbers are a little suspect.
Well, you know, they do that rather than not test at all. And, you know, you have to make an
Yeah.
appointment to get the test. And, you know, that's like, well, when can I get an appointment that fits into the schedule I have? And whatever.
Right.
So
Well,
there's
I
a
have
lot
a
wrapped
story.
around.
I have a story to share about our mock jury process.
Oh,
As you know, I went through the St. Louis mock jury earlier in the year, and then I did it again with Larry's mock jury after having reshot my booth, reworked the artist statement, etc. And then I was waiting for the St. Louis Art Fair results. And I was disappointed to find that I was on the wait list. So for all that grooming and preparation, I was still on the St. Louis Art Fair wait list. I was pretty bummed out. I was wondering if I should retire, right? So for all the good work that we did with, you know, refining our presentation, it just didn't quite grab those jurors. That generally makes me better on the next application. But last week, I got a phone call from Clayton, Missouri. I could see the ID, and it was Sarah Umlauf calling to invite me off the wait list to the show. And it's just like, sometimes you know, I respect our process, and sometimes it's really about what the jurors like. And, you know, I'm grateful to say, after a quick discussion at home, I made the commitment to say, yes, I'm going. And I feel like I have Sarah's full support that they're going to do everything they can again this year to give us more space with the booth arrangements. We're going to be in a pod of 4, so everybody has 2 open sides. And all of a sudden, I'm kind of kicked into high gear.
good.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it feels good. What'll be unusual for me is that instead of going to do 3 shows in the Midwest, which has always been my formula, I will only be going for 1. We're trying to make plans to go to Italy. I'm trying to make plans to take a textile workshop in Italy, which is pretty extravagant. This has been canceled for us 2 years ago because of COVID. But regardless, I'm going to go to St. Louis after Art and the Pearl, do the Cannonball Run, and then turn around, go home, and try and fly to Italy or something like that. So it's going to be pretty exciting. Yes, I am still concerned about the virus. Living here on the Oregon coast, I have been sitting in, I have an ongoing show for 6 weeks as an exhibit in a cultural center fiber art studio. And one of the key people quit. And so here I am. I didn't know that I was going to wind up shopkeeping 4 days a week, but that's what I'm going to do for 6 weeks. So that's why I've been missing out on some of our Zoom calls. And I've quickly found out I really do prefer a weekend of art fair than 6 weeks of sitting in a gallery. It's all very exciting to talk to people and share, but and have a few sales. Hoorah! You know, it's happening. But I do miss my studio time. So that's what we've been doing out here.
Erica, are you on a bike? She's
Can't hear you,
muted.
Erica.
She's muted.
Yeah, I'm getting in some steps, Larry.
When did you become a queen, Erica?
Yes. As my sons turned 23 and 21 last weekend. And I decided that and turning 50, it was time.
Well, Your Highness, glad to see you.
The
Thanks,
elf
Ray.
queen.
Yes.
I'm late today, but really excited to join today. I have a question for the group think here. I'm lucky enough to be doing the Cincinnati show in a couple of weeks and the summer fair, and I'm renting a tent. And I asked the show administrator, manager person about can you send me a picture of it, or can you at least tell me, is it going to be up when I get there? You know, what should I expect? And she said, all I can tell you is it'll be up when you get there. I don't have any pictures. It's a canopy. That's all she said.
Did
Now-
they give you the number for the tent rental company so you could ask them the question?
They did not.
Because you don't want one of those circus tents. They don't let any light in.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of. And I thought maybe if somebody's done Cincinnati before, you might know, am I, going to end up with some dark black?
Well,
Right.
if they're saying it's just a canopy, it could be, it's a easy up, but no
Could be.
sidewalls.
Okay, well, that would suck because I could bring my own easy up with no sidewalls.
Well, you should
that
have,
wouldn't
okay,
be a
so
big
then
deal.
put it in your vehicle anyway, just in case.
That's what I'm thinking, is I'm just going to have to take it anyhow. Okay, well,
Yeah,
I-
I mean, you can never
I
be
agree with Larry.
over-prepared.
Yeah, you need to have your own canopy with you if you have one, just in case, because some of the rental canopies are
Are horrible.
really, really dark.
are they?
Yeah.
now?
And
Okay.
sometimes they're really dirty.
Yes,
Well, and the other thing is at Cincinnati, if it's a nice canopy, you'll have room to put your canopy up behind it.
Okay. Okay, well, good to know. Thank you.
you have a way to do lights.
No. And there's no electric at the show.
Yeah, I've done the show, but do you have, can you get some battery lights just in case you just need?
I guess I could. If I know I've never really needed them with my Easy Up because a lot of light comes through
Right.
that, even on a crappy day. But it does go, the show goes till 7 every night. And so it's not getting dark at 7, but
No.
No.
yeah. When you do the lights, you hook them up to like a car battery? Is that the
There,
formula?
Deep cycle marine battery.
Okay,
there's something
Or a
better than
battery
that
pack.
that they've been discussing on Art Fair Lounge.
oh, okay, I'll look that up.
You need an inverter with the battery. You have to have a way to,
Or DC bulbs.
Or I used DC bulbs, so I didn't have to have an inverter. I used deep cycle marine batteries forever.
I got really tired of lugging it around. So I finally got a Yeti, which I like much better. And it comes with a little cart, which is great. If the Yeti are lithium batteries, and I don't think they last forever, but I've had it 3 years or more. Still holding up.
Do you have the 1000?
I think so. The bigger
Okay.
one. Yeah.
I never heard of that.
All right, everybody write that down.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
I've heard nothing but good.
Right. There are some other brands that are competing with it now. Don't remember the names of them, but Yeti was the first one. I just love the fact that the it was lighter than the marine battery, came with a little cart on wheels with the telescoping handle. That made it so much easier to get it back and forth to the hotel if I needed to charge it.
And you can hook it up just as you would like a marine battery type?
Yeah, but you don't have the fumes from the battery, so you're not making somebody else ill.
I mean, from a generator.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
use a marine battery when
I just didn't have a lot of success with the marine battery, or had too many lights, one or the other,
okay.
or the inverter wasn't very good because they were the least expensive part of the setup. The Yeti
Yeah.
worked for me.
I still have my 600-watt Honda generator in the basement. I haven't used it in 20 years.
Well, I used to use a marine battery, but I switched because of LEDs, and I just used a motorcycle battery, which is very light. And the only problem with the marine battery is just so heavy.
Mhm.
Well, I had the opposite experience with the deep cycle marine battery than Karen did. It worked like a charm for me, but I got
Yeah.
everything I got was for 12 volt.
Right.
So I had fans and I had cute little track lights, and yeah,
And they last.
I'm a jeweler
for-
also.
They last for a long time.
Yep. And every time I got one, I just got a bigger one, which bigger means heavier. I'm glad for everyone that there are better options out there now.
Mhm.
Well, the other thing is, I mean, because of LEDs, even if a show gives you wattage, you could have so many more lights now.
Yep.
Right.
So that's also nice to have.
So I have a question. This is my first time on here.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks. I've been moving my uncle into assisted living, so that's been taking up my time.
Oh, boy.
All the time. So anyway, but my question is about images during the slide presentation during. I never know what order to put them in. You know, obviously you have some that you prefer over others. I don't know if I should start out with my first favorite image, the most impressive image, or else somebody said to end with that image because that's the
Well,
last.
No,
It's like a sentence. It's like grammar. You
First
need to
image.
have, grab their attention, and then you really have to think about it as your first, second, third, fourth choices. But you also need to think about the composition of the pieces physically. So
And how
with
they
me,
relate to one
that's
another.
how they relate to, like
Right.
with me, if I have, I do wearable art, so I have models. Sometimes it's the way that the model is facing, that their arm is out one way, but if I end the 4 images, I want to turn this opposite way. But you really
Yes.
got to think of
Yeah.
it like a sentence.
Okay.
that's an
Okay.
excellent way to describe it.
Yeah, but
And
there's
I
another
highly
factor.
recommend putting your strongest image first.
That's what I
because
have
that-
been doing.
That
Yeah.
is used as the thumbnail on,
Well, wait a second.
Well,
Wait.
no. Some
Depends
shows,
on-
some shows let you pick though, which image you
Yeah,
want
but
for
it
promotion.
depends on
No,
whether
no,
the
I'm not
show is
talking
projecting
promotion.
or using monitors. It's 2 totally different ways that jurors are seeing the images.
Okay.
If it's a projection jury, they're seeing the images lined up all at one time.
Right.
Mhm.
If it's a monitor jury, they're seeing them one at a time.
Okay. So you might want it.
And
But I
then
think
when-
the brain still processes it the same way, is, starting with the subject matter. The first image should be strong.
right.
And yeah, I think whether it's projected or monitor, it's a
Of course, they should all
composition.
of course, they should all be strong. But
Right.
yeah, a composition I think is a great way.
okay, the thumbnail I'm not talking about for promotion or on the show's website. It's when they are looking at your images on, oh crap, on Zap, sorry.
Same thing.
So when they bring up, I'm a show director too. So when they bring up one of the pages on Zap, they show your first image as the thumbnail. So it only makes
Mhm.
sense to have that be an extremely strong image.
Right. Okay, okay.
And
That's the way I have
scoring-
been doing it. And then somebody said something else and it's like, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, have I been like doing this wrong the whole time?
Well, if you're getting into
Yes.
shows, you're doing it right, whatever you do.
Yes.
And you can ask 11 people and you'll get 11 different answers.
Right.
Right.
And,
Right.
and sometimes you don't get into shows. So even if you did it
Right.
right,
Right,
Yeah.
right. No, I get into shows and that type of thing, but
I think the whole
not
process
that
with the
other
jury
one, and it's
keeps us humble.
unattainable yet.
Yes.
Well, it's, you know, all things being equal, it's random in the end. I mean, you know, and then, you know,
If your work is above a certain level.
Right.
and you're putting in your own pieces. But that's another
Yeah.
story.
Geez.
Yeah, whatever's happened with that whole thing.
Well, it's
Someone-
that's the third time it happened to a jeweler.
Oh, really?
So
Yeah.
has there been any follow-up? Have the show
Yes,
directors
Zap-
Oh,
done
yeah.
anything?
Zap was notified by 2 of the artists.
And that can
And-
be, Zap will cut you off. If you are found doing something against their policies, or if you bounce checks to shows, they will cut off your account and not let you open another one.
Well,
Why
I
did
guess
this jeweler even think they could get away with it?
Well, because she did. She got away
Because
with
they-
it for years.
Yeah.
Years.
And I was on the jury for Longs Park last year, and I gave her a good score. Why not? The images were beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
really nice. What I didn't know was that she was going to come to the show with buy sell, and nobody checked.
And the images were stolen from other artists. That was the other
Oh, yes.
issue.
Yeah, they weren't her images.
Right. So that's
Wow.
a problem.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's interesting.
So, you know, in any case, one of the artists whose work was stolen, the images that is, she did call several shows, but then she called Zap. And so I know she was removed from St. Louis. And, you know, it's just
He
all
got
in
into
process.
St. Louis?
Oh, yeah.
no.
And I'm on the wait list, so, you know.
That's the part that really got me, is
Yeah.
I got messages from all kinds of people that said, this isn't fair. She's on the list for whatever big show it was, and I'm waitlisted.
Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Fort Worth was another one.
Park
Oh,
City,
boy.
Park City, yep. I'm on the wait list for that too.
well, there'll be a space opening,
Well,
hopefully.
a lot of us are on the wait list, so, you know,
Oh,
somebody will get in.
yes. Fairly.
Hopefully more deserving.
Yeah, well, you know, it just reminds me of, you know, a certain portion of our society now, the idea of right and wrong doesn't exist. And it's just, you know, disheartening to say the least.
It's the me generation.
Oh, it was happening years ago, like on eBay, when lamb pork was the big thing. A Chinese factory, whatever, was using one lamb porker's images and selling beads. And she
Wow.
started getting complaints from people like, hey, I bought your beads and they've cracked in half, and you know, they
Oh,
don't
wow.
look anything like the thing, they're smeared. And she looked through her you know, records, says, I'm sorry, but I didn't sell anything to you. And she was only able to shut down the fact that it was her pictures that he was using.
Well, yeah, China does not operate the same
Yeah, but
copyright laws. that-
eBay does, so in theory. But they didn't shut down his site at all. They just made him take down her pictures. The fact that he was copying her signature, work didn't matter.
A friend of mine who's a jeweler had some factory in China went on his website and pulled off the images, but they went so far, they copied his work.
Wow.
And he tried everything and wasn't able to get any satisfaction.
Well, these beads that were being sold as if they were hers were copies of her work. They just were not as precise, and he didn't anneal them. Well, they looked right. So you stick them in a drawer for 6 months, you pull them out and they popped in half because, it's a slow process of that, cracking from temperature changes or whatever. But yeah, she had problems there trying to figure out what was going on. And finally, they were able to find out exactly where she had actually bought the beads, and some of those other people too, if they still had their receipts. But it was a big mess for her.
Yeah, my friend too.
Hey, I want to offer some information that came to light to me. This doesn't have anything to do with theft of images, thankfully, but it does have to do with booth improvement, which I'm all about lately. I finally bit the bullet and made some decisions and ordered some desks and other supplies from Pro Panels in the Moonlight color, which they are out of now. And will not be getting more fabric for that in until probably late June. So if anybody was about to order Pro Panel stuff in that fabric, they have everything else, they just don't have that Moonlight color.
Is that the beige?
That's frustrating.
It's the really light colored one. Yeah, it's a real light beige. It's not the oatmeal. I think that's the other color that's called, but it's the real light one.
How about doing don't they have a really light gray?
No, this is the lightest one by a long shot. I'm
Okay.
trying to remember what the other names of the colors are, but they get pretty dark after that.
They used to have a really nice light gray, but oh, you will love using them.
Yeah,
Well, take a look.
I'm so excited. I had to wait.
Take a look on the Artist Garage Facebook page and see if anybody's getting rid of them, in good condition.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've been
that could be-
watching that pretty closely, and that Moonlight color is fairly new, so I
Oh,
haven't
okay.
seen any of that come up.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, and the
Well,
thing is,
get the old ones
I
and
had
paint
placed,
'em.
I had placed the order, and then I'm like all excited, thinking, okay, it's going to come any week now, or any day now. I'll get at least a note saying which week it's going to come. And a whole week went by, and I didn't hear anything. So I finally contacted them, and they said, "Oh yeah, we sent you a message. I don't know why you didn't get it, but we don't have it, and it's going to be 6 more weeks before we can tell you when it'll come." So yes, it's frustrating.
Well, my friend just ordered a sofa today, and it's coming from North Carolina, so it's not like it's coming from overseas, and it's going to take 22 weeks.
Oh,
So June doesn't sound that far away.
Do they have to build it first?
I'm assuming that's what it is.
Probably.
Yeah.
It'll be a couple weeks of shipping, but first they have to queue it in the factory, then they have to get it through the factory.
So you bought how are you going to use the Pro Panels? Are you going to use the stands as well?
I'm going to use the, I guess they're called desks, that,
Yeah.
those standalone unit things. I think I ordered 4 of those. And then a shelf unit thing. How this is all going to get assembled is kind of TBD. There's a number of different configurations for this, but I think it's going to be a lot of messing around with seeing what makes the most sense. Do I actually use the shelf thing? Do I get rid of this other thing that is usually hanging in my booth and replace it with the shelf thing so I have more room for banners? And that's another area that I'm thinking that I want to wait until I get the Pro panel units before I figure out how to do the banner pieces.
Make sure you practice setting up before you go to the show.
Absolutely. And I was looking forward to doing it before going to Cincinnati because I really thought that I'd have them well in time before that. And now I'll miss that, but that's fine. That gives me the summer to really figure it out because I don't have anything else then until late September.
Well, you will love using those desks. I used a desk. I used Pro panels for a while and I use the desk. And it's got this beautiful shelf underneath it. And I could cram all kinds of things. It was really perfect for a sales desk or put a case on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just, yeah. And
I'm
so
really
easy. So easy. You're going to have fun.
Yes, I am. And I will be joining this group a lot with pictures saying, what about this? What about that?
Good idea.
Will they be sending you like the structure and you just have to wait for the fabric portions so you can at least practice setting up?
No, I think it all comes as one. I mean, it all comes like the fabric's attached. It's not a detachable element of it, to my understanding.
Pro panels, it's carpet.
Yeah, it's carpet fabric.
Yeah, the rough side of Velcro sticks to it. So anything you have signs or anything, you just put the rough side of it, sticky back Velcro on the back of your signs.
Oh, it makes hanging things, signs, artist, the booth sign. It just, you can hang anything.
You know, you've all just made me think when you said, Larry, that it's carpet, which I knew, but it didn't occur to me. I'm sure everybody runs into this, but people walking around at art shows frequently have something to drink in their hand, and they're constantly like looking for some place to set it. Does it have like a Scotch guarding on it or something that makes it pretty impervious to stains?
Probably.
Take a hose to it.
Okay.
I had mine for so many years and had no issues with it. I will tell you that towards the end, I put a piece of foam core.
Mm-hmm.
I put Velcro on the hook side Velcro on it and used that on top of the stand that I was using as a sales desk.
Okay.
Only because it gave me a better surface to write on.
Yeah.
If you have to write anything.
Okay.
Clipboard.
Yeah. Oh, geez, that would have been too easy. Come on. Some of us just like to do it the hard way.
Walmart sells clipboards the size of a letter envelope. So it's perfect for stuff like that.
Like a whatever that, like a number 13, you know, mailer size bill envelope kind of thing. Okay.
And they're cheap, like 99 cents or something.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. I'm going to be doing Madison in July, and I saw someone say that that's the only show that they had theft at when they were at. So do they mean like at night when you're, you know, securing your tent, that's when people might come in, or does anybody have any experience with that? Madison?
I would say I've done Madison quite a bit, and I would say probably more so at night, because it is, I mean, it's a huge college town and so forth. A lot of kids stay there. I'm not saying that it's kids, but there is a lot of traffic and so forth going around, and it's, if you haven't been there, it's all around the Capitol, and there's restaurants scattered all around there. So there are people coming and going through there. So just secure your tent And I'm a jeweler, so I take all my work out of there at night, but I have not had a problem.
Do you know about, oh, I'm
I
sorry.
haven't either.
Do you know about zip tying your tent when you leave? That little trick?
Well, if you don't have a, but in the front, if you don't, what do you zip tie it to if you don't have a bar on the bottom?
No, they have
Well,
The
grommets.
zippers.
zippers.
There are grommets that look at the bottom of your tent where your doors are or where the corners meet. There should be grommets.
Well, some have grommets, some have zippers, but either way, there's two different,
Well, no,
like if any,
then you put the zip tie through the zipper and through the grommets.
but I don't think I have any grommets on the bottom of my tent is what I'm saying.
Okay, my
I don't
craft
have
hut.
And then around the leg.
But even if I like in the middle of the front, if you zip, you know, if you put a zip tie around those zippers, they could still zip it up because there's nothing.
Well,
at the bottom.
they'll
well,
cut
the-
it with
the
a
point-
knife and that.
Well, the point is if, you know, if it's, you know, a lot of crime is about opportunity. So you're just like slowing down the opportunity.
Okay.
If they,
You know,
if
sort
they
of-
want to get, if they want to get in, they will get in.
Right.
So you're just trying to make them decide to move on to the next person because yours is going to be too much work.
Right.
Yeah, the other thing is if you're worried about your stuff, take it down and put it in your middle of your booth on a dolly.
That might
Well,
make it
that's a
too
nice-
easy to steal.
Well, and then you could put a locking cable to the leg of your tent. I mean, so they can't pull the dolly out of your booth. And again, that's going to create too much time for an opportunity.
Right.
I didn't find Madison to have any particular crime. A couple friends had trouble with the homeless population, depends on where your booth is. They hang out by the bus stops, I believe it was. It's a lovely show. You will love it.
Yeah, lots of people. One thing, you're on the square, correct?
Well, I'm emerging artist there, so I think we're separate. We're
Okay,
not
okay.
quite with everybody.
One thing, you do need shims because half of the tent or part of the back side of the tent is up on the curb. And the front side of the tent is on the road.
Okay.
Well, it
So you
depends.
need
If
shims to equal your legs out.
Yeah, and I think the emerging artist is even almost like 50-50 or 60-40 of what's up on the curb. It was even more
Okay.
than the regular ones. So I'm not
Okay,
sure.
well, just take some boards.
Okay. Take some
I,
things.
I did not use shims. I just put my legs, my back legs that were the ones up on the curb. I just didn't put them up as high.
Right, I did that
I
too.
just- I just did it level. and-
Yeah, some tents you can do that with, and I think some you need more shims.
It was funny because that was the first year I did it. I was very concerned because this was not something I had really experienced. And it turned out to be absolutely no problem.
Right,
And everybody has the same problem.
Exactly.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's not the tent per se, but if you're using panels inside the tent, that's where you have to like jury rig it.
Yep.
Okay.
But that's where the desk, the pro panel desk, was absolutely perfect. I just butted it up to the curb. Oh, yes.
And sat
memory.
behind the booth
Pardon?
and sat in the over on the sidewalk.
No, I actually, well, as a jeweler, you don't sit much, but
Right.
yeah. No, I was in the street. Hi, Oscar.
Hi, how you doing?
He's iPhone 3.
Yeah, he's driving. I see cars
Oh,
going
hi,
past.
hi, Oscar. Hi, Oscar. It's
Hi.
Allison.
I saw
Where are you driving to?
home now. I just finished my last job, so I'm heading home now. I thought you guys started at 4 p.m. East Central Time, no 3 p.m. Central Time. So I think I have enough
Right.
time, but oh well.
Yeah. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Oscar, when's your next show?
57.3, 3 weeks.
Oh, nice break.
Yeah, but he works all the time though.
I know. A nice break
Yeah.
from shows.
The breaks are in between shows now. So if I'm out of town, but we'll see. I got a heavy schedule coming up, so I'm kind of excited. So we'll see what happens.
Excellent.
Is
Your
anyone
hair's
doing,
coming up.
pardon me, I was gonna ask if anybody is doing Reston this coming up weekend, the Tefra show.
Hey, I'm glad, wait, call it resting. I was gonna say, I'm glad somebody's finally calling it Reston because that's what it is. I mean,
Oh,
the stupid name change, it sounds like something in the Middle East.
yeah, maybe it's a good name if you live there, but for the rest of us,
Oh,
what a
I'm
mess.
sure, I'm sure if you live there, you just call it the Art Show.
Yeah. So what about Reston?
Well, I do live here, and so that's why I was asking, because I thought, if anybody's gonna be there, I will look for you. But I'm not gonna be there. I mean, I'm not showing at the show.
Yeah.
Does
Too many
anyone know?
Oh.
Sorry. Does anyone have an opinion about the, let's see, the Coconut Grove Art Festival in February?
I would not recommend it for your work.
Oh,
They
why is that?
What are
They
you
like
looking
gold?
to know?
What?
They
What do
like
you-
gold and bling,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and it's pretty conservative unless you're talking 2D.
Right.
Now, my
Yep.
information is a few years old,
Mm-hmm.
but did it many times.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at the jeweler list and it seemed very varied for sure. As far as type of work.
I just,
You know, it's basically a lot of Hispanic people walking the show, and you have to be. When it comes to jewelry, it has to be more traditional.
So
Everything else.
did you say status driven?
No, it's a Hispanic.
Oh, I thought you said
Heavy
status.
Hispanic,
Uh-huh.
and you need traditional jewelry. If you start getting too funky, they're not going to buy it.
right,
Okay. Got it.
And there you get the people from New York and Philadelphia and the Upper East corner, but still the same thing. If you do well in the Upper East, then you should be fine. But that's the market.
Uh-huh.
And
Thank you.
but my
watch,
best,
you.
watch your back there.
oh yeah,
Oh, I've heard that about Florida shows too.
well,
Yeah.
especially Coconut Grove.
Yeah.
Oh,
My,
okay.
my best story about Coconut Grove was the first time I did it, everyone told me that I absolutely had to raise my prices because
Oh,
everybody would want a deal. So I went through, and as a jeweler, you've got 60 zillion things. So I went through and raised all my prices, and not one person asked for a discount. So I made more money, but very interesting.
very.
Now, wait, when you say watch your back, then elaborate on that.
Jewelers have been known to be followed and ripped off.
In
Oh.
Florida in particular, though, isn't that right? Like
Well-
I've heard that about Florida.
Yeah, but
generally.
Coconut Grove, I could definitely see more than the other Florida shows.
I agree.
Oh. Okay.
Don't forget that Miami is the 10th highest crime city in the states.
Oh,
That makes
nice.
you feel like.
Yeah, but
makes you feel-
Oakland is like number 2 or 3.
No,
So,
it's Alabama.
huh?
Montgomery, Alabama is number 2.
Okay, and then St. Louis is up there. St. Louis is
San Luis #1.
number one. That's right.
Yeah.
I know Oakland, I know was up on that list for a while.
No, I don't think I saw it anywhere in the top 20.
I've seen it up there, but anyway, yeah.
Change.
It's not a real, as a jeweler, it's not a real safe, you know, you feel perfectly safe in your booth. But as you're walking for parking or
Mhm.
anything, it's not a real safe feeling show.
Got it. I mean, it's funny in Chicago at Old Town. I mean, you know, it's a city, you're aware, but I feel safe there. I mean, you know, relatively, it's because the community there, you know, everyone knows each other and all of that, and so it seems reasonably safe for, you know, for being in a city and having jewelry and all that. But anyway, I'm glad I asked. Thank you, everyone.
We had something here, a lady did like little street fair shows and so on. She had one of those pull along trailers that was full of her inventory and setup. And somebody just backed up and took her trailer from in front of her house.
Oh,
She didn't unpack it because she was, you know, going to be going to another show that coming weekend. And
that's terrible.
there's about, she said about $20,000 worth of stuff inside the trailer, plus the trailer itself.
Oh,
And they
That's-
probably
that's
just wanted the trailer.
Probably.
Hotel parking lots.
Well, this was
Also,
this was
they've
her
been-
home that she had it at.
Yep. But
So
they've
Katie,
started-
are you saying that they just backed their own truck up to
Yeah.
the trailer, attached it, and made off with it?
Yep.
wow.
Her neighbor's ring caught it.
I guess she didn't have a lock on the hitch.
I don't know.
Yeah.
She was totally distraught and didn't know what she was going to do with herself and the whole
What-
bit.
Yeah, once, the first time I did Wyandotte, I was pulling a trailer and I chained the trailer in the parking lot behind the buildings where the booths were. And I came in the next morning, they had cut the chain because it was a motorcycle bar there. And they wanted the chain and they left the trailer.
I had a friend whose his van, he got back from a show and his van was stolen. He didn't unload that evening. And he then found all of his work, which, you know, didn't have value except for the art itself, but he found it at like local resale places and all of that. And it messed with him as an artist. And he really didn't make anything but generic work for a while. And I mean, the good thing about being a jeweler is it's very easy to bring your work in. And, you know, if the booth and all of that gets stolen, it sucks, but it's much more replaceable than your artwork.
Mhm.
Just get insurance. That's the only thing I can tell you.
Yeah.
Well, this lady that was near here had insurance, but not that much. You know, homeowners insurance or whatever
Well,
only
yeah, it
covered the
needs to be a
You need
trailer.
business
business
Business.
insurance.
business policy.
Yeah, I don't know. She was like just going, oh, oh. Now what am I gonna do? And I think some friends put together a GoFundMe for it so she could pay her bills, but you know, her husband just moved into assisted living and the whole bit.
Sounds like just too much, but you know, a lot of artists don't have business insurance and we do have businesses.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's important to have.
Well, my biggest concern as far as the insurance is what my display or what I might do to someone else's
Mhm.
display
Right.
after seeing accidents with canopies flying and so on. I don't want to be the one to cause someone else an issue. What's everyone's next? Oh,
Business insurance, I got one because I put installations, but mine is only $100 a month. So I'm covered left and right for everything. So it's not that much money if you think about it in the long run. So if you shop around, you can probably, I heard some people get it for $40 a month, other people get it for $80 a month. So it depends if they're covering the actual value of the work or the replacement value. So that's what is going to make the difference in price. I know the company in Florida called DNA is replace retail value. Mine is just replacement cost of whatever I have because what I do.
And with jewelry, they're not going to replace retail value. There's separate jeweler's insurance people can get, but it's important to have the insurance for as Bonnie was saying, if your tent flies into someone else, somebody trips in your booth, any of those things, these unforeseen things that you hope never happen.
Yep. Well, my insurance was like $850 a year, but it did not cover my jewelry. I went totally uninsured with that because at one point it was like $3 per $100 of value, and they were just going to give me materials.
Material cost.
And wasn't worth the money. And luckily, I went through my career without needing it. But I did need my other insurance, so that was good.
Oh, Chicago traffic, you got to love it.
Anybody else have shows coming up?
Comic-Con, July.
In person?
I'll be there because I'm also working the show, but it's not like I sit with my stuff and sell it. It's hung, so I'll be helping other people set up or hang art that was mailed in and do the sales receipt thing and walk up and down and say, no photography, no photography, don't touch.
Well, I'll be at Old Town mid-June. So, and then this Saturday I'm doing another artist market, and they're going pretty well.
Are they?
Yeah, so I'm making some sales. People are very engaged, getting people on my mailing list, and planting seeds. This one woman tried on a bracelet, and I know she loved it, but it's not the type of thing you just buy when you first see it. And so she and her husband both signed my mailing list, and hopefully, but I have two different setups for, like, I have traveling shows and then the local one. And so I have to pack and unpack for each show. So I have to be careful not to get confused about it. And so this Saturday I have the local one. And when I get back from that, I could deal with packing for Chicago. I have a list for the one here is much quicker, but anyway, I need permanent cases in my studio also. Otherwise, I'm constantly packing and unpacking things, and it gets tedious. And people also call me and come here. So eventually, I'll build something here. But in the meantime, when I get back from a Saturday market, I unpack it. It doesn't take that long, but it's something I don't want to have to do.
It's just one more thing.
Right. So eventually that'll change.
Between your traveling and your local.
So the local show you set up in the morning. So I have basically these cases I could just plop down, but they don't come apart, so they're not compact enough for long trips.
Oh. Okay.
The local show is like 10 minutes away, and because on the long trips we need to be able to fit in suitcases and food and all of that, and kind of keep it as below or as low as possible from the windows.
How is Santa Fe as a starting point for shows? Or that's, do you know what I mean? Well, it's easier than
How many hours?
a million times easier. I mean, I used to have to be on the road for about 6 weeks. So I went to Brookside. It's less than 12 hours, the drive. And I have orders that I got from my website. So I can come back from Brookside, work on these orders. I got some things from Brookside as well. And if I'm on the road for 6 weeks, the work just piles up. So it's 1,000 times easier. It's much more centrally located. I mean, Chicago takes 19 hours and change to get to. So it's 2 days instead of 3 days. I mean, we're going to make it into, we're going to stop like at the Lincoln Historic Site and do some things along the way. But it's so much easier because I don't have to be on the road for such a long period of time.
good.
Not to say that wasn't fun, but then, the work would just build up.
Anybody done the Omaha show?
Omaha?
Which,
Yeah.
Nope.
It's the one that goes in June, same time the Old Town.
I have a lot of friends that do it, but
I did it, but 20 years ago, so it wouldn't apply now.
I did it years ago. I don't recommend it. The wind is bad. They've moved the show a couple times. Oh, the tracks down the middle of streetcars or something.
They changed the location this year, so I just don't know. So I will see when I get there. This what happens. I'll let you guys know.
good.
So crossing my fingers.
Sorry, I lost my connection there. They have changed the location of the Omaha show a couple different times, and I just stopped going.
It's going to be interesting because I go in Lincoln, Nebraska, and then I always do well in there. So I just wonder how Omaha, because Omaha is supposed to be more artistic, more, better crowds.
More sophisticated than Lincoln, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know. I think it'll just be okay. They do have good security, though. In the past, they always had real cops who were looking out for us.
Excellent.
We're getting the Marines coming over for security.
That ought to do it.
Yeah.
The Omaha show was one of those shows where the artist woke up the next morning and half the tents were flat on the ground because of the wind. It just comes barreling down those streets off of the river or something. But I was grateful that they were offering sandbags. So if they offer sandbags, take them.
okay.
Yeah, you need that extra weight. That's all I have to say about Omaha. I won an award there, I think 3 times in a row, which was kind of unusual.
Well, you're award winning.
But 3 times in a row, that was a lot.
Yes.
It's like it didn't have competition, which tells me I probably wasn't in the right show.
Yeah,
it worked out to be in the Midwest to do either Lincoln or Omaha as another combination of shows, which is my formula. You don't go for one show, you go for at least 3.
well, you pretty much have to.
I have to
Considering
because of my
that-
distance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What kind of medium you are?
I do wearable art. So I do clothing that's hand woven.
It's really beautiful.
Thank you, Bonnie.
I'm sure Oscar, I'm sure she could make you a very nice jacket.
No. No, Fred.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to go.
Okay.
So
Good
have a
season.
great week.
Nice to see you, Bonnie.
Nice to
Thanks.
see everybody.
See all of you.
Hmm.
Okay, take care.
Take care.
Bonnie.
Now figure out how to do this.
So,
Oh, God.
Well, so long, everybody. I'll see you next week.
okay.
Likewise.
Frank.
Bye.
Ah,
So booth shot, real or photoshopped?
in between. Just make it look like it's supposed to look like.
Right.
I still
mean-
I need to, what? Sorry.
No, go ahead, Oscar, go.
I still think that I need to still work a little bit more in my bush shot and also in my selection on images. But it could be just the shows that I'm applying is really hard to get in, but I definitely one show that I'm going to cut off for the application is St. Louis, because now I got a good idea what they're looking for. Same thing with Winter Park and what is the other one? In Brookside.
Uh,
It's not the I don't fit their look. So we see.
so how so? You mean the content of your work?
Yeah, it's more like St. Louis was more like Henry Cliff,
Yeah.
James Cole. It's more people, more black and white, more what they consider real fine art photography,
Hmm.
or not landscaping or anything abstract. I didn't saw that many. I think I didn't saw anybody with that kind of work in there, and for the
Huh.
St. Louis show.
Interesting.
But when you start seeing that, your work doesn't fit. There's no point to keep sending the money for something that is going to get rejected.
Right. And Cherry Creek might be like that too, I think.
Yeah, maybe. But Cherry Creek, I see people again with other type of work, but we see.
Hmm.
So, but I do the shows that I can get in, and so far I've done well in all the shows except for the one that got bad weather all weekend long, basically. So I don't want to. That doesn't count.
Right.
So I'm happy with that. So,
Well, I only have 2 shows this year. The rest are wait lists. So I just wait. Luckily, I have this local artist market. So that makes a big difference. It's like 5 hours on a Saturday, and then you're done and busy the whole time.
that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not selling hand over fist, but and I've only done 2 so far. But for me, it's about meeting people who will hopefully buy at a later time. They've seen me, they've thought about it. So the fact that I'm selling there and doing that, kind of building up, and it's 10 minutes from where I live.
Yeah, and
So
that's priceless.
yeah.
because the traveling time kills you, and it also puts a lot of wear and tear in your car.
Right. But, you know, I'm hoping to get in off of some wait list would be nice.
You will, because some people are dropping or they haven't. I still think that some of the shows are being skewed because of the COVID year.
Uh-huh.
I think the people are running out of inventory really fast because they don't
Well-
they cannot produce as fast as they sell it.
Uh-huh. Well, I hope that's so for Cherry Creek, because I have several customers asking me about it. And it's only 5.5 hours away, so that would be very lovely. But
So
it's out of
we
my
should go to
hands.
Sunlight. Why I have to put myself behind an 18-wheeler? Why?
So is that it?
Yes.
Why?
Okay, now that I know I can do this on the phone, I might be able to do it more often.
And yeah, and you can do it while you're driving.
That should be doing. Oh, technology, I'm telling you.
All right.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thanks, Larry.
Sure. See you next week.
Yeah,
Yep.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.